Hey everybody, the Johnny Kage here, welcoming you back to another episode of the Game Kage. Today we are playing Star Wars for the NES, a game that I played quite a bit growing up before selling it along with most of my other NES games, but since then I have managed to buy it back, and I gotta say, I think this game is worth every penny. Although the game is simply titled Star Wars, we are playing Episode 4, A New Hope here, and we're even treated to a nice little 8-bit rendition of the opening score from the movie as well as a credit scroll, but you guys already know the story, and if not, you should probably stop watching this and go find the movies for yourself. Well, all except for the prequels. We don't talk about those. Anyway, we see R2-D2 and C-3PO escape to the planet of Tatooine after being chased down by the evil Empire, and after some quick text from C-3PO explaining that R2-D2 is a runoff, like R2-D2 would do, the game begins with Luke's landspeeder driving into a mysterious cave. This place is more or less a tutorial. It's just one of many caves scattered throughout the overworld. Now, you could leave this place by just going to the left, but this does give you a chance to learn the controls, which are quite Mario-like, and at the end you do get a blaster upgrade, which allows 3 shots on screen rather than just 1. Once you have finished off the cave, the world is yours to explore, even if it is a bit confusing. Just remember how the movie goes and you should be alright. If you recall, the Jawas now have R2-D2, which means that we gotta head for their Sandcrawler, which is located in the top left portion of the map. The Sandcrawler can really test your platforming skills. It's littered with conveyor belts which allow you to jump high, and these columns with up arrows which can send you flying into God knows where. All you really need to know about this place is that you start in the lower left, and you want to get up to the upper right, which is where R2-D2 is. It may take you a couple of tries, but shouldn't be anything too difficult, although the fall damage can be a real pain in the ass. After rescuing R2, it's time to find old Ben Kenobi, which can be rather difficult to figure out on your own. You want to head towards the cave in the upper right of the map. Now, this place can be kinda tough with these giant mosquitoes flying around you, but you can take them out in one shot at least. Now, towards the end of the cave, you're going to want to do some precision jumping onto these tiny platforms. Now, do this a few times and dodge the giant mosquitoes, and you'll run right into Obi-Wan. After finding Obi-Wan, he gives us our lightsaber, which we can now use as a secondary weapon. You can switch to it by pushing select, in which will bring up a menu screen, and then pushing right on Luke's picture. He also mentions that we're going to need a ship so we can get to Alderaan, which means that we need to be headed to Mos Eisley, which is located in the lower right of the map. Inside the cantina, we get a pretty awesome rendition of the bar's theme. The area itself is simply a straight shot to the right. Dodge a few Greedo-looking guys, and soon enough you'll run right into Han Solo himself. After he lets you know that he can take you to Alderaan, he becomes a playable character with a badass and much more powerful blaster than Luke has. What he doesn't tell you, however, is that you need to collect 8 shields for the Millennium Falcon, otherwise when you take off you're going to be dying quite a bit. Now, the easiest way, as far as I've seen, to get these shields is to go through a cave just north of Mos Eisley. In here you'll find a shield that looks a lot like the Millennium Falcon, and you will have to go through this place 8 times in order to get full shields. But don't worry, it's totally worth it, and with all the health regens that are scattered throughout the cave, you can use some shortcuts to make things quicker for yourself. After that, it's back to Mos Eisley. Back in Mos Eisley, you're going to want to continue going to the right of the cantina. Now, this is a great place to use the lightsaber. I especially love the crazy way that Luke wields it. Now, your biggest problem here is going to be these Boba Fett-looking guys, which fire homing shots at you, and can fly around if you give them the chance. As soon as you see one, just run up to him and blow him up with your lightsaber. At the end of the area, there is a pretty insane jump, which requires pixel-perfect timing to make, but after that, we move on to the hangar. The hangar is similar to the Sandcrawler in the sense that it can be confusing to navigate around, but all you really have to do is go up, right, down, and to the left to reach the Millennium Falcon. Now, there are some shields here to collect if you haven't gotten 8 of them, but they can be pretty tricky to get. Take out the few stormtroopers guarding the ship, and it is on to the asteroid field. Oh man, the asteroid field. This can be downright painful. I remember trying to get through this when I was 6 or 7 years old, and I could not manage it for the life of me. Which is why I highly recommend, if this is your first time playing it, to have 8 shields. Each shield can take 2 hits, and while I don't really have a strategy for this area, keep in mind that you are flying a ship, so you can get hit by asteroids that are not necessarily on the screen. But make it through this area, and it's on to the Death Star. After making your way through a short hangar section of the Death Star, you emerge into a labyrinth. There are elevators everywhere which take you to all sorts of locations. I highly recommend using a map for this portion of the game, or the urge to rage quit will slowly rise. After not a whole lot of looking around, though, you should be able to find this control room where R2-D2 and C-3PO will be hanging out for the rest of your stay here. After dropping the droids off, it's back to business. Our goal now is to shut down the shield generator, and this place can be rather hard to discover, so keep that map open, especially because it's going to be requiring some expert platforming at great heights to reach. It's worth mentioning that if your characters get injured too greatly or one of them dies, you can select Obi-Wan's picture from the menu, and he will mention something about the Force being very powerful, which instantly revives and fully heals your guys. Keep in mind, however, that you can only do this a certain number of times throughout the game, somewhere between 5 and 8, although I'm not quite sure, so use it sparingly. You do have 10 continues and 3 lives apiece to go through before the total game over appears, and sometimes that's the better action to take. Taking down the shield generator is quite a bit different in this game than how it went down in the movie. There's certainly a lot more lasers than I remember, and while this looks like a mess, it is actually not too difficult. Just move between the 2 ladders, dodging the laser on the ceiling, and firing at the control panel in the middle. Just keep up the pattern and it should go down without too much trouble. Now with those 2 tasks accomplished, it is time to rescue Princess Leia. But I'm going to leave that up to you guys. Now this game is a whole lot of fun, and if you ever get confused on where to go, you can always just pop in the movie and use that as a guide. Unless of course you are in the Death Star. A word of warning, however, for those that are interested in attempting the rest of the game: the difficulty increases greatly as you progress, but it can be quite rewarding if you manage. There is also an Empire Strikes Back game on the NES for those interested, although I've never actually played it myself. Or you could always give the Super Nintendo Star Wars games a try, if you're a masochist, of course. And if you're a collector, you should be able to pick this game up for probably around $10 retail. And if you're a Star Wars fan, it is definitely worth having. So thank you everyone for watching. This has been the Johnny Cage. Please subscribe, like, and comment if you have not, and may the Force be with you.